Okay, you're gonna want this, okay? We're gonna fill this in as we go. This one's a little different. It's gonna have kind of the same steps as we've done before, but instead of getting an actual answer like x equals 5, we're gonna rewrite the equations. We're going to manipulate them a little bit. This will help you a lot in science class. You'll have to do this a bit as well. But you'll see as we go along. It is very different though, so make sure you're listening, please. Okay? All right, so in science you might see this, for example. We have the formula for converting Celsius temperature to Fahrenheit temperature. So right now it says the Fahrenheit temperature is 9/5 times the Celsius temperature, and then you add 32. Okay? So what we would do is now we want to get, sorry about that. Okay. Darn it. Sorry. Not sure what I did there, but okay. All right, so try that again. So we want to get C by itself, okay? So we'll subtract 32. Okay, and now we want to get C by itself, so we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, okay, of 9/5, which is just 5/9. So basically what we're doing is 45 over 45, which is just 1. Okay, but if I multiply that side by 5/9, I have to multiply this side by 5/9. That's good enough for me. Go ahead and just do that. So 5/9. Okay, so we'd say the Fahrenheit temperature minus 32 times 5/9 would get us the Celsius temperature. Okay, this one's pretty complex. All right, we're not actually going to get quite to this level. Okay, so don't panic. All right, this one you should be able to do. All right, we have Celsius equals pi times diameter. What we want to do is we want to get diameter on one side by itself, okay? When pi is right next to the diameter, that means multiply. So to undo it, we're going to divide. All right, so I'll divide by pi. That cancels, that cancels. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So it'd be circumference divided by pi equals diameter. So this would help us if we knew the circumference and wanted to find the diameter, for example. Okay, you see how we're not actually getting an answer, like circumference doesn't equal some type of decimal? We're just rewriting the equation. Okay? This is if you're shopping for wood, apparently, at the lumber shop. Okay? We've got the board foot, is what it's called. We take the thickness of the board times the length of the board times the width of the board and divide by 12. Well, if we want to solve it for t, I need to get rid of this 12, this L, and this W. All right? First thing we're going to do is multiply by 12 to get rid of that fraction. Okay, so 12 times B equals T times L times W. All right? We want to keep the T, but we want to get rid of the L and the W. Okay? Well, if it's all multiplied, all we got to do is divide. So 12 times the board width divided by the length times the width of the board would equal the thickness of the board. Okay? All right, you've seen this one before. You've seen this guy before. E equals mc squared. All right. We're just going to solve this for m. All right. So we have to get rid of the c squared. When m is right next to the c squared, that means multiply. So to undo, we will divide. So e over c squared equals m. And I'm done. Okay, same procedure we've been doing. Do the adding and subtracting first. All right, do multiplying and dividing last. There's no adding and subtracting here, so we just work right to the multiplying and dividing. Okay, this is for the octane reading of gasoline. Okay, I tried to make this O look a little different. Maybe you want to put a loop on it so you can tell it's not a 0. But basically, it's the research method plus the motor method divided by 2 will get you the octane reading. All right, so if we want to solve for M, we have to get rid of the R and the 2. So the first thing we're going to do is multiply by 2 to get rid of that fraction. So 2 times the octane reading is the research method plus the motor method. Okay, now this is addition. So to undo it, we're going to subtract. I want to keep the M, which means I need to get rid of the R. So 2 times the octane rating minus the research method equals the motor method. And that's my answer. Okay, this one you could do a couple ways. This one's actually pretty complex. It may not look like it from the beginning, but it is. All right, because you could either distribute this P through, okay, so you could take the R equals P times 220 minus P times A and we want to solve for A. So we want to subtract the 220p, so R minus 220p equals negative p times A. And on this one, I divide by negative p, and then that would be good enough for me. So you could have R minus 220p all over negative p equals A. We could take this a little bit further, and when you take the second half, when you take 1b, I'll show you how to do that. For now, this is good enough, all right? And let me show you another way we could do that one. Okay, we could have also just, think of the order of operations. Remember we do parentheses first? Well, we're undoing this, so we're gonna do parentheses last. That's another way to look at this. So I could divide by p first. Then I have this left. Okay, so I'd subtract 220. So R over P minus 220 equals negative A. And then I divide by negative 1. Okay, and again, that's good enough for me. You could take this a step further and make this negative R over P plus 220 all equals A. But again, that's good enough for me. I am not going to do this to you yet. Okay? This one we should be able to do though. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more for you here, all right, and then you're going to be on your own. All right, so let's look at it one step at a time. We've got 5x plus y equals 75. We're going to solve it for y. All right? So that means I want to get y equals everything else. So I need to get rid of this 5x. Well, it says 5x plus y, okay, so we're going to do addition or subtraction. It's a positive 5x, so to move it, I'm going to subtract 5x. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So I'm left with y equals 75 minus 5x. This is what we should be able to do, okay? 1 and 2 step ones we should be able to do. All right, let's try it again. This time we're going to solve it for x, okay? So do the addition and subtraction first. It's a positive y, so I'm going to subtract y. 5x equals 75 minus y, okay? Last step, I got to get rid of this 5 by dividing. So x equals 75 minus y all over 5. Okay, and that's our answer. Okay, ax minus b equals c. We're going to solve that for x. Okay, so maybe this will help. If you go, if you have the order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add and subtract. We're undoing all these problems. That means we're starting at the bottom for the order of operations. We're going to do adding and subtracting first, then multiplying and dividing, etc. We're undoing, okay, kind of like when we were solving for x in the last week here, okay? So we're going to look for adding and subtracting first. Well, if I'm trying to keep this x, I have to get rid of the a and the b, right? If we have to do the adding and subtracting first, that means I got to take care of this minus right here. If it's minus b, I'm going to add b. Okay, that's going to cancel that out. Whatever I add to one side, I've got to add to the other. So I have ax equals c plus b. I'm trying to keep x, so I got to get rid of a. I did the adding and subtracting, so now I'm going to do the multiplying and dividing. So a divided by a is just 1. 1 times x is x. If I divide one side by a, I have to divide the other side by a. Okay? And that's our answer, c plus b all over a. All right, let's see, ax plus by equals c. We're going to solve for y. Okay, we will actually do this in 1b as well. This is changing the way an equation looks. This is standard form, and we can change it into what's called slope-intercept form. For now, though, you just need to know adding and subtracting first, okay, multiplying and dividing next. We don't have any parentheses, we don't have any exponents, so let's just look at this. If I want to keep the y, I got to get rid of the ax and the b, okay? Well, it's ax plus by, so I need to subtract that ax so that I'm left with just by. I got my c minus ax, okay? To get rid of the b, I just divide. Okay, and that's our answer. You're usually going to be multiplying and dividing last, so remember that, okay? Keep that for your last step. Whatever's next to your variable you're trying to solve for is what we're going to divide by, okay? All right, surface area of a cylinder. We have 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. We're going to solve it for h. Okay, Not as intimidating as it looks, okay? We want to keep the h, do the adding and subtracting first. All right, so I'm going to subtract 2 pi r squared. So I have s minus 2 pi r squared equals 2 pi r h. Well, I'm trying to keep h. This is all multiplied together, so to undo it, I just divide by whatever I want to get rid of. Okay, done. I'm left with h. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So this can be your answer. Okay? Now I look at that and I see I could divide and stuff, but don't worry about it. For now, just get this far and I'm happy. Okay? Okay, so I want you to do these last 5 by yourself, or if you'd like to work with a partner next to you, that would be fine. Call me over, even just, if you just do the first one and say, hey, do I have this right? Just call me over, okay? I'll help you.